nominated as a Young Chef of the Year 2024 by the Good Food Guide Sydney Morning Herald. From Indonesia, grinding his skills and bringing his Indonesian heritage and serving the best Ayam Bakar in Sydney, here is the untold story of Bremmy Setiyoko.
All right, so welcome to the AN.Told interview. Let's not say it interview, let's say it podcast. Ngobrol aja. So, can you please tell me a little bit about yourself?
Okay, so Bremmy, I'm the head chef of Penelope's here in Sydney. I've been in Sydney for 12 years now, so it's been a while. I came here first time when I finished high school. So, not long ago, 12 years.
12 years.
Yeah, wow. It's a while, but not so long, I suppose. And then being a chef has always been sort of my dream.
Yeah.
And then that's what's the progression that I go for.
Okay.
So I came here, I go for a culinary school.
Yeah.
And then the plan was not to stay in Sydney.
Okay.
But then, you fell in love with the city, you fell in love on what you do.
Yeah.
And then one thing leads to another. And then here I am.
So where in Indonesia you're from?
So born in Bandung.
Okay.
It's in West Java. And then I grew up in Jogja. So I moved when I was about, what's it, 10 years old.
Okay.
And then I spent there until I graduated high school.
Yeah.
High school.
Nice. Okay. Has it always been cooking when you were younger, or how did you get into cooking?
Yeah, cooking has always been my interest. I don't know why or how it happens, to be honest, but it's just like an activity that you always enjoy. Because like when I was young, I remember like the earliest memories cooking with my grandma, my dad, my mom. So school holiday time normally is going to grandma's house.
Yeah.
Cooking a bunch of different sort of dishes and then just having your favorite meals. So like every time we go there, it's like, what's your favorite meal?
Yeah.
And then I want this dish. And then she showed me. It's like, okay, make it this way, make it that way. So it's like, that's something that I actually, or in particularly enjoy.
Yeah.
And then on your daily basis, my mom loves to cook as well. And then like, it's just sort of things that we end up doing together as a family, either trying to cook, experimenting, and then like, you go out, eat somewhere, and then you know what, let's cook it at home and try if we can make it or recreate the dish.
Okay.
9 out of 10 you fail, but the 1 out of 10 you succeed and you're actually having fun doing it.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, that's the important thing, having fun with families.
Yes, that's true.
What's your favorite dish from your mom and
If I can recall, it's a dish called gadon.
Okay.
So this is also a little bit about my family.
Yeah.
So my dad is from Madiun, it's in East Java, and then my mom is from Bandung in West Java. So we have sort of a cultural mix in the household.
Yeah.
So sometimes the palate could be like savory or the palate could be sweet.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I love from my mom's cook is she cooked my dad's favorite meal from sort of East Java region called gadon, which is like literally a steamed beef mince with some coconut milk, vermicelli noodles, cabbage, and a few other spices.
Yeah.
And then they steam it in banana leaves.
Okay.
So it's a delicious meal. I think that's sort of one thing that I look forward to.
Yeah.
And then growing up, we're not a super rich family.
Yeah.
So having beef is a privilege. So when that's the time that you can actually access it, it's amazing.
Yeah. Wow. Nice.
Nice.
Okay, so that's a little bit about your family. Now, let's talk about how did you end up cooking so you moved to Sydney since high school?
Yep.
Were you already in love with cooking or?
Yep. So, I think why I come with cooking or choosing it as a career. Back then, I think you were doing it as well after high school. What are you gonna do? Right? There's a lot of choices like being an architect, go for science, learn accounting, so on and so forth. But then I never felt like that is my sort of journey.
Okay.
So I was actually looking hard.
Okay.
finding on what you want to do.
Yeah.
I know that I enjoy cooking, but I don't know if I want to do it as a career at that point of time. And then plus in Indo, we don't have like a next sort of or a higher degree for cooking. You know, everything falls into hotels, and then that is not something that I want to do. Luckily, there's one time in my high school education fair, there's one banner, and then the picture was a chef with his chef whites, chef hats, plating something.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is. And then like I found out, oh, what is it? Do you have a school about cooking? It's like, yeah, we do, but it's in Australia at the time. And then like it says that it's actually the cordon bleu.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool.
I don't know what the cordon bleu at the time.
Yeah.
I don't know any cooking school happening outside Indonesia. And then I end up sitting down with the education rep, talk about it, it's like what it is, how long the course goes for, the location, the fee, how much is it, and then what's the career pathway down in Australia itself. And then of course that's not like an easy or a light decision that I have to take. End up talking to my parents, they're like, hey, I have an interest. And then but the opportunity is outside Indonesia.
Okay.
And then at that time it's like it's beyond your dream, it's beyond your expectation or what you want to do.
Yeah.
Basically, right?
Basically, it's expensive.
Correct.
No future
Yeah.
in Indonesia. I mean,
So it's like you don't know what's gonna happen and you don't know if you can afford it either. And then it's like one thing that my dad says is just believe. You want it, and then like believe it, they'll come to you when the time has come. So it was actually a year before my graduation. So it's like it's sort of there's a gap in between. And then like I think I just know the news that I can go. It's literally a couple of months before my graduation. My dad said like, hey look, and I've been know you want to go, and I've been saving for you without your knowledge. Like, so I can set aside this money for you to go. But one thing they told me that you have to pay for yourself in Australia. I pay for your tuition fee, but that's all I can help. And then from that point on, you gotta have to support yourself. And then, okay, challenge accepted. You know, like I was young, I was like, I'm excited because like, you know what, you got the opportunity and then the chance to do what you want to do. And then I fly to Sydney. First time, I've never been to any other country than Indonesia. So it's a terrifying and exciting opportunity. You arrive in Sydney and then like I think the taxi that I took, it passed through this bridge here.
The harbour bridge.
Yep, and then it ran through Opera House, and then like you know what, I start tearing because like you know what, one of your dreams it's come true. You know, like for someone that never seen anything else, this is like a big step. And then I promised myself on that day, I want to be chef, and I'm gonna do everything that I can to make sure that I'm a chef.
Wow.
So that's that. So I start my cooking and my culinary education, and then because I have to support myself. There's no other choice.
That's how you came to Sydney. And then
So that's why I become Sydney anyway.
nice.
And then you start working your way up. My first job is in a small past sort of industry. I last there for 2 weeks. It's a tough job. I came there because again, I was just been here for 1 month. I don't have anyone.
I mean, as migrants, it's very hard to survive in the first, let's say, month.
Yes, and then like you don't know anything, you don't know the work culture, and you don't know what to do. The location of the place of the venue is about 2 hours. I have to take 3 different buses just to reach the place.
Oh no.
So like it's in Lidcombe. It's not far from it. When you realize now, it's not that far. But then like at that time,
It's just the transportation.
And then like there's no Google at that time.
Okay.
Like now it's easy. Okay, I want to go here, and then like just type it in, and you.
But how did you get to Lidcombe that day? That time?
So-
how did you find out? Like, I have to go this place.
There's different apps on that time. Say like so. Basically, you can still type it in Google, but it doesn't work as what do you call it as accurate now.
Accurate. Yeah.
But then it listed, okay, you have to take this bus from here
Yeah.
to here,
Okay.
and from here to here, and then from this bus, then you take it to Lidcombe, and walk for about 15 minutes. Like okay, and then I did that, and then so I start at 8 in the morning.
Yeah.
So because it takes me 2 hours.
Yeah.
By 6 o'clock, I have to leave house. So I left house at 6. Finish work at about 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Sometimes because the unfortunate schedule of the public transport, I end up going home at 8.
Okay.
Okay, so it's like it's a long way to commute basically,
Yeah.
and it's tough for a young person and like to do, and then like after this on the second week, and then like I feel so tired, so like you move slow, and then like there's a big expectation from the owner and everything.
And
So
then
they
just
say like,
left.
and they say like, you know what, Bremmy, I'm sorry, but at this stage, we need someone that have more experience.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it's like, you know what?
But at that time, you haven't got any experience before.
No. So
Okay.
that was my first job. I never cooking in the commercial kitchen before, so on and so forth. So it's like, okay, I said, I'm sorry that I'm not good enough. I said, okay, don't worry, you'll get better. That's a good advice that they actually give me. You'll get better in time. You just have to get more experience. Maybe take something a little bit more, what do you call it? Not stressful.
Okay.
Right?
Don't
I mean,
take
like-
it personal. Something
Yes.
that. Yeah.
So and then left the job and then like moved on to another one.
Yeah. So now you've become a big chef, one of the big chefs in Sydney, in Sydney. But if you looked at that time now, what sort of advice you're gonna give to younger Bremmy?
The advice that I will give to younger Bremmy is not to give up, because from what I go through then and now, perseverance and grit is what gets me through here.
Yeah.
Nothing else. I want to say that I'm a talented chef. I'm not saying that I'm the smartest chef that in here, but I wouldn't say that I'm working hard to get where I am.
Nice.
So even like to any younger chefs that I met trying to be a chef in this industry,
Yeah.
perseverance is one of the big things. I think you are going through that as well in your early of your career. Like, people will be shouting at you, people will be like, a bit angry at you. It's like for no reason sometimes, but that was part of your training. A lot of people given up in the hardest time, and then they don't realize that this is a sort of a foundation
Okay.
that try to be built, so then you can when you go to your later stage of your career, then you'll be thriving in success.
Nice. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the journey again. So I'm probably not gonna go through like all the jobs that you go.
Yep.
Tell me about the job that is one of the highlights of your career. Like when did you get? Look, this is the place that I work. This place has made me become this chef now.
Okay, so the highlights of my career, probably I would say going to Spice Temple is one of the milestones. And then the second one is working for CPA.
Okay.
So when I talk about Spice Temple, is first restaurant job that I got that the restaurant has had.
Yeah.
So
How was it? How was it when the first time you joined them? You still remember?
oh yeah, that was like, again, it's still a scary thing. It's
Yeah.
like I always work in a place that it's still busy. It's still like have their own ups and downs, and then like a lot of push in different ways. But I feel like at that time, going to a restaurant with the head level
Yeah.
is it's different. You will be jealous of your friend. Oh yeah, I'm start working in a head restaurant, blah blah blah. And then like at that time, I was like, you know what? I want to work in a head restaurant as well. Trying and then again fail. But then one time there's this phone call saying like, hey Bremmy, I remember the sous chef name. His name is Jason. he's calling me because I didn't know. I'm just literally sending resume to everywhere.
Yeah.
I send it to any head restaurant that I think that I want to work for.
Yeah.
And then at the time, the sous chef Jason, he called me and said like, "Hey, Bremmy, I got your resume here. We are from Spice Temple. If you want to come in and then do an interview with us, that'd be great." And I said like, "Okay, cool." I don't know where Spice Temple is. It's like, and then I said, oh, "Okay, so can I get the address for the interview?" It's like, "Okay," and then they give us the address, which is Supply Street, just like about 10 minutes walk from here. Coming for the interview, I walked in. I can't find the restaurant because the restaurant is in the basement, hiding behind a TV that's showing like a curtain, which is, I think it was a very cool sort of concept.
Yeah.
I walk in and then like, as soon as I open that door, I know I want to be here. So, go through the interview process, went for a trial, and then that's it. Thankfully, I got the job. I end up, so the first time I was there, because of visa restriction, so I only stay about 6 months.
Okay.
And then I have to go back and then apply for another student visa here in Sydney. But then the second time I went back to Spice Temple, I end up working there for about 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So one thing that makes it a highlight is
What's the fail story? Sorry.
The fail story about
Spice Temple. Like, did you find it hard working there, and then just want to build up the story as in like
so again
or
because
with the highlights?
you never work in head restaurant before, and then this is two heads, so you sort of jump a level of ridiculousness and then attention to details. Just a little bit of Spice Temple. It's Chinese restaurant focusing in obviously spice and then the regional Chinese.
Yeah.
So, and then to be in a two-headed level restaurant and it's a Chinese cuisine based, it's adding up a little bit more harder than anything else. Okay, so like it sort of opened up my mind on how you have to treat the ingredients, because before you chop up whatever, and then now you have to cut it this way. You have to be this fine. You have to be this precise to be achieved on that level. We have a saying before, when someone's doing whatever they like on that restaurant, so like, "Hey, we have to have the level restaurant. This is not acceptable. Do it again." And then at that time, hours is also quite long.
Okay.
So I remember doing 3 doubles and 2 singles, averaging about 70 hours a week. So, and then I live quite far. So adjusting to that life is tough. So it's like I'll finish about 12 a.m.
Yeah.
Going home takes me an hour and a half to get back. That's 1:30. And then I know the next day I have to start at 8 again in the morning. So a rough 3-4 hours sleep on average, and then like you have to go back and then full on. So like you have to be ready, and then you have to be prepared for what's gonna happen on that day.
Yeah.
But the good thing is it's such a big training. It's like it's a busy restaurant. You averaging 200.
Yeah.
So like when you're setting up yourself on prep or the speed of your prep as well.
Yeah.
Get you to think, okay, I'll put this on first while I'm start cutting this. Then after this, I'm gonna do that. Then after, make sure everything falls into one place at the end. So during service, you're not, running around trying to get yourself ready. So that is the first story. So the first 3 months, I remember I lost 15 kilo.
No.
So I was like, and then I didn't see my friend at all.
Yeah.
When they see me, it's like, "What did you do to your face?" I'm like, "Nothing. I just work." So it's like, that's just like the big gap that I have to adjust.
Yeah.
But after the first 3 months, it's sort of like easing up on me. So like everything's sort of fall into place.
Yeah.
You start to know what you do, and you know what's gonna happen on the day. So like we're just adjusting on that.
So what's the hardest part working at Spice Temple in terms of cooking, not about your lifestyle? In terms
the
of
hardest part about cooking is it's a live cooking. So like a lot of restaurant, you do a lot of them are ready, and then you just sort of mix, heat up, and plate. Spice Temple is live cooking on the wax. So if you say like you're making one kung pao chicken, that kung pao chicken needs to be cooked and assembled. There's no sauce ready. So the hardest part is being consistent, whether you're having like 1, 2, 3, 4 to a 10 kung pao chicken in flavor. So it's like it's never been easy, and then I think cooking maybe 2, 3 different kind of dish in the same time will be the hardest. And then that was the cooking bit, the service bit. And the prep is also crazy because we use a lot of good produce from Australia. When we talk about good produce, especially the protein, the beef, the pork, and the fish, it come in whole. So you butcher a whole pig, and then so when you're talking about sweet and sour pork, you got that diced pork ready. It's coming from a whole pig, so you have to break down the whole carcass. Cut it into the pieces that you want, and then actually cooking it. Same with the seafood, so everything come in whole. So all your squid will be drenched in squid ink, and then you have to gut the fish. You have to scale the fish.
Everything is fresh.
Nice. But I think that's the 2 main thing.
Okay.
Other than that is, just managing your supplies.
What is the biggest part of what did you learn the most from Spice Temple?
What I learned the most, I think everything. From basic cutting skills to like sauce making, base of cooking, and then like technique and so on and so forth. Because like, even though this is Chinese restaurant, but we also applied a lot of different sort of Western technique into the cooking.
In terms of like consistency, those sort of stuff.
And in terms of that, I think you learn being consistent, being like, again, I think perseverant and disciplined about yourself. And then I think you learn about teamwork. Because a lot of people will be like, your section doesn't really matter. And then I think in that place, there's no dickheads. Basically, so like basically when someone's going down, then I finish my prep, jump in and help other people. So I think that's very important as well in the kitchen.
Nice. Okay, let's talk about Sepia now. Go. How did you end up to Sepia?
Right.
Let's do it a short story. How did you end up to Sepia, and then how was it?
Okay. So I've done Spice Temple for a while. And then fine dining is sort of a thing that I want to try. Plus, it's one of the top restaurants back then in Sydney when it's still open. And then again, I tried my luck. I applied a couple of times, and then at that time, because of my visa, I didn't really get it. But as soon as I got sort of permanent visa, they ring me up, said like, "Hey, got your resume here. You want to go for a trial?"
I do.
And then I go for a trial. It's a totally different world than what I've been doing at Spice Temple. Everything is very precise and delicate. Because in Spice Temple we don't really get to do that. And Sepia offered me a different sort of approach to my food. So how was it in there is, again, I have to adjust. My first 3 months is a nightmare. Because you never done things like that before. Plus, like, fine dining technique is very elevated. So it's like you're turning one thing into another. I remember on my first couple of weeks, I'm struggling. I'm always behind. And then I'm just trying to cope with whatever happens in the kitchen. So I go through a rough patch again on that, first 3 months, kind of struggle on how to adjust, because what the expectation of the chefs, and then what the expectation of the workplace itself. 3 months pass. You start to excel on your position. You start to know, okay, let's do this, let's do that, and then to me, that's give me a lot of experience on how handling things to be a bit more sort of nice, precise, delicate touch,
perfections,
and it's just bring your food, your level of cooking to a different one.
Have you ever felt that you want to quit Sepia?
Lots of time, absolutely. If you want to quit, yes, because even when any other place, because like you always go through that sort of rough patch in the beginning,
Yep.
wherever you want to go.
Yeah.
Unless you're the head chef here, then you're setting up the pace, so like it's not going to be hard. But
Just
lots of time in that 3 months that you feel like, oh, is this the right pace? Is this that I want to do? But then like I remind myself, like, you say you want to do fine dining, you want to do on another level. You say you're doing 2 hats before, and now if you want to do 3, so you gotta be stretched, you gotta be retrain yourself to be working on a restaurant. But again, story of my life. Hang in there, and then like you end up excelling after that.
how did you stay sane during that time? How did you cope it? How did you?
One thing that I think helped is just cry every night, just to keep you yourself like in the same mind state. But then in the same time, just remind yourself that what is the goal of you doing that? Because I know that's the purpose. I want to be. I want to be better. I want to have another skill set in my life, and then I want to achieve something in my life that I can. Now I can say that I used to work for a level restaurant. Because and then I think that's give me motivation to keep doing what I'm doing at the time.
Okay. Nice. In terms of inspiration, now let's talk about Penelope actually. Tell me a little bit about you and Penelope. How did it started? And then what's the idea behind Penelope and stuff?
Right. So the whole idea about Penelope's is started in 2002. Yeah, so first time
2002, wow.
Yeah. So we have the idea of this restaurant in 2002. I met Kung, which is the owner and director of the company. He approached me about this place on that time, say like, hey, what am I doing at that point? And then that he has this restaurant with a blank sort of canvas-ish. So he has this idea to open up a restaurant in Silver Key, which is in this building here, serving a modern Australian at the time. So when we approached that idea, so like, okay, let's do this. And then we sort of cooking up the ideas on what Penelope is going to look like.
Yeah.
And then and I said to Kung, that like, okay, it could be modern Australian, but I want to sort of showcase the progression of my career. So it's like I want to tell the story of like how I as an immigrant come here to Sydney, Australia, cooking all this bunch of different food throughout my career, and then taking me to where I am at that time. And it was like, okay, that sounds good.
Cool.
And then we still like sort of like how to put this wordings for the public to digest, right?
Yeah.
Because like a lot of restaurants say like, okay, this is modern Australia, but what is modern Australia? So we're doing back and forth sort of things, and then we end up saying that this is a modern Sydney.
Yeah.
Because like what we want to serve here in Sydney is Sydney food, because like we thought that this is Australian food will be available in different parts, different city of Australia.
Yeah.
But it's not. Sydney is very multicultural sort of city. There's a lot of cuisine sort of melts into one, and then like that's what we want to tap on.
Of course.
And then Sydney has been my home for the last 12 years. And then to put into perspective is basically if you come to Penelope's, you come into my house and have a dinner party. So the food will be good, but then we will not label anything French, Italian, Indonesian, Chinese, Japanese, Vietnamese, or anything like that. So it's just a good time and a fun time at Penelope's. So we are cooking up the ideas, and then represent it in basically all the menus that we do here at Penelope's.
Nice. So we just talk about Penelope's. So how did Penelope's came up? The name.
The name of Penelope's, I think the inspiration is Kung's God's daughter.
Okay.
So to just speak the name is a sort of restaurant for the restaurant that he actually envisioned.
Yeah. Okay. Any fun facts about Penelope's?
Fun facts that I can think of is it took us 3 days to actually from the end of construction and to open up the restaurant and be ready.
3 days.
So it's basically the project has been delayed for quite a while.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be done in October. It's sort of like because of construction and whatnot, it gets delayed, November to December.
Yeah.
So, but we already set soft opening dates at the time, and then we send all the invitation out already.
Yeah.
So we could have a week to open, but because of the delays and then we have to fix the hoods, we have to fix the electricity on the pass area. So it's like we end up having 3 days to open. So I think 1 day we actually tidy up.
Yeah.
1 day preparation and 1 day training.
Yeah.
And we open on Thursday. And it's like
How was this launch? How was the soft opening?
the launch is I think is very memorable. It's fun at the same time, and it's very stressful as well at the same time because you're cooking with a new team, you cooking in a new place, and then you're still sort of getting your groove. You know your food, but then at the same time you're never cooking it as a whole menu. 2 of those days, I'm going home at 2 a.m. and the other one at 5, and be back here the next day. So it's like it was tough. So it's because we need to be ready for service.
Yep.
So that that's sort of the sacrifice that you have to do. It's just like it's a big stretch, but then coming here and then when we did the soft opening, people say you know what, it was great and the place is amazing, and then we're like,
It's good.
right. It's like sort of like very rewarding.
Yeah.
And
what's the specialty of Penelope's? Or
specialty.
The uniqueness
The uniqueness is
in terms of food, in terms of
I think the uniqueness is because there's not many people actually saying I wanna cooking something that telling the story of my journey. So this is sort of that I wanna put out there. So hey, look in this is the stuff that you will eat when you come into my house to experience all of these things, all of this story that I've been through since I came here first time. So that's sort of the point of uniqueness in our restaurant. It reflects a little bit in one of my dish that's called the bakar chicken. It's inspired from Indonesia, a grilled chicken dish, or we call it Ayam Bakar in Indonesia. It's just a different way is I actually incorporate a few Chinese technique in it.
Okay.
And also serving it with a Lebanese inspired sauce called tun, which is very garlicky, very punchy sort of flavor. It's sort of like a mix that I would like to cook and what things that I would like to eat.
Nice. Tell me a little bit story about your Ayam Bakar. How did you think of
that?
Is it your favorite meal in Indonesia or something like that?
So the whole inspiration, it begins because again, this is we want to serve roti sri chicken at that time, and I was like, okay, let's. But to me, roti sri chicken it's boring. It's what's how can you make a difference with it? It's very still similar, but just a little bit different one to the other. So then I remember this dish okay, rotisserie, we don't have rotisserie, so it's oh, you know what, it's probably very similar to Ayam Bakar. So what my mom used to do is it's sort of like rotisserie because you still spin it basically, but it's on the charcoal grill. So it's it's that. So it's like you're sort of cooking it slowly on the coals, and then like you keep spinning it like hours because it's manual as well. You kind of have to do that.
Wow.
So just like the traditional babi guling as well.
Yeah, nice.
So this sort of remind me, it's like, oh, you know what? That's probably the go-to dish,
Okay.
right? So it's like, how can I sort of remake it into a restaurant setting?
Yeah.
So we take that inspiration from Indonesia, even all the flavors that goes on top or in the chicken brine, and then we just add the geniusness of cooking technique that we've been learned for different years. You know, like so to make sure that the breast is still moist, the meat doesn't go dry, and so on and so forth, and then add it into something that that I enjoy eating here in Sydney is charcoal chicken.
Yeah.
So Lebanese charcoal chicken is sort of my go-to dish because sometimes you missed the Ayam Bakar.
Yeah.
And this is like
Sure.
a close second.
Yeah.
I think in Sydney for me. So I was like, put the two and two together. It's like, oh, why don't I serve that sauce with the OG sauce from from my memory. So like, yeah, okay. And then we tried. It goes very well. So and then like I said, you know what? Let's tell a story.
Yeah.
From the Ayam Bakar.
That's good. That's beautiful. 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 All right. Let's talk about yourself again. What do you know now that you wish you had known earlier?
Things that I wish I had known earlier is can't think of things, but I wish that I know that it won't be like, I know it's going to be hard, but I don't know it's going to be this hard. Like to make it person in Sydney, there's a lot of growth, and then that it takes a lot of again process and willingness, takes a lot of perseverance and passion to be where I am right now.
Okay.
And then I would say that if I want to say to younger Bremmy again, say like prepare yourself a little bit better.
Okay.
To give yourself a little pat on the back and every time you achieve something, because when I was young I was like I'm hard on myself as well. So it's like any achievement that I do that feels like it's not an achievement because like it's just a small step. But as I grew up to this stage, I think I know that a small win, you have to celebrate your small wins, because like if you don't celebrate that, then you're just going to be desperate. You're gonna be like you're gonna be depressed and like, oh, what I have achieved. But then if you celebrate your small wins, you'll be step further.
All right. If you could give one piece of advice, again, I'm gonna repeat the questions. Like you've already said it before, but if you could give the advice to younger generations, what would it be?
I think one piece of advice I want to give is your perseverance. Don't give up too early when things are getting hard.
Yeah.
Because you have to invest your time, you have to invest your energy, and you have to commit to whatever you want to do. Because I'm telling you, whatever you're doing, it will be hard in the beginning. And then like, if you go through that part, or if you go through that period, and you'll do better after this. Because like things might not be easy to see, things might not be easy to digest when times or when things are hard.
Okay.
But go through it, keep going, and then like, don't give up on your first day.
Yes. Okay. Any future projects at the moment, or anything that you want to do in the Penelope's? It's a little bit advertisement for Penelope's as well.
Not as much, I think. But I want to talk about like what I want to do with Penelope's.
Sure.
Okay, so back stories. Before Penelope's opened, I've been very fortunate to be in the Young Chef of the Year Good Food Guide finalist. And then in one of the interviews, the question is, what sort of cuisine that you're gonna do in your restaurant or in Penelope's? And at that time, I don't have any answer.
Okay.
I can't answer that because there's nothing in my head say like, hey, I want to do this particular things, and I'm gonna do it this way and that way. Because a little bit of backstory that I love Indonesian cuisine, but in the same time I sort of have disconnect Indonesia. So in the back of my head, I don't want to do Indonesian food.
Okay.
But at the end, the food is sort of like what connects me with Indonesia again.
Yeah.
So and that's where everything is Penelope is also going, because now you know what, I want to sort of have food connect with Indonesia through the food. And then after that question, because I sort of blank in that stage, I don't know what I'm gonna do or what I'm gonna answer. But I sort of the answer now that I know one thing, I don't know what cuisine or what food I want to do, but I want to improve everyone's sort of experience with cooking.
Yeah.
Because in the industry itself, it's known that it's a very tough industry. You know, people struggling, people quitting the industry after they work. They burn out so many people because you know what, they fell out of love.
Yeah.
Now people say like, oh, I love cooking. They become a chef and then they looking at this is a tough place to be. And then they not cooking anymore.
Yeah.
So I want to use this space, this opportunity, because finally I'm at the stage of my life that I'm having the authority
Yep.
to do this. You know, like I want to make sure that my chef get looks after. I want to make sure they, you know, enjoy doing it while performing very well as well. Because a lot of people forget that.
Yep.
When you're in a position, you just finding the goal, which is money. I understand this is a business, and then I understand that we are here to create what we need to do. But then at the same time, I want to make sure that the quality of life of people that I lead is better. So
Good.
that's my plan. If you ask me, what's your plan for the next 5 years?
Yeah.
It's not so much about like I want to do this food, I want to cook this, you know, I want to cook this again, but I want to make sure that everyone that works for me is having a good experience being a chef. Not be like, oh, what? This is just proving another example that chefing is hard and chefing is not for me. But I want to change that. I want to change sort of the stigma of the industry. I want everyone to have a good life. I want everyone to be able to reach their potential at the same time.
Right. Nice. It's very nice. If you want to see Penelope's or you, if people want to see Penelope's or you, where we can find you?
All right. Okay. So Penelope's, I think if you come and want to try it, we are located just right here with a beautiful view in the Good Harbor Bridge. It's in 50 Bridge Street, going to Key Quarter Tower. We are on level R1.
Great. And how do we reach out to you?
Reach out to me, go for my Instagram page. It's Bremmy HS. You can talk to me then.
All right, that's it. Thank you.
Amazing.
That's the untold story of Bremmy Setiyoko.
Thanks, bro.
Beautiful. It was good.